Oh, it's so real. Oh, we're live. We're live. Why didn't anybody tell me that we were live? What the hell is going on? Happy Friday, everybody. Hold on. Strap in. Hold on. There was, I don't know why I bothered to comb my hair if I was just going to put a VR headset on top of my head and do that anyways. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you, everybody. Happy Friday. There's a tremendous amount of stuff going on, and I figured we'd jump in live and talk about it with you guys tonight. So jump on in, trickle in. Let's have some fun. God, the VR headset, it hurts my head. I haven't used that thing in so long. I filmed that reel with Bobo, with the collaborative Bobo. I'm assuming you guys saw that. Otherwise, the reference was lost on everyone in the audience, but it's fine. I'll take it. I'll take one for the team. Marty is in here. Good to see you, brother. All the way in from Newsy. There he is. Good to see you. Tom Severo's in here. Fof, you combed your coif because that's what you do. That's exactly what I do. I did have, oh, there it is. Hold on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're just going to jump right in, aren't we? Look at this. It's got performance anxiety, but I can confirm that the Switchblade mustache comb is still fully operational. So despite the fact that I put on a VR headset, my mustache is still going to be absolutely glorious and gorgeous. So here we are. Thanks for coming on this Friday night. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially mountain bike season. What does that mean? That means basically every weekend, is just going to be filled with an event of some sort or another. And I'm curious to find out about your local areas because I know a lot that's going on around where I'm at, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. But I also am kind of curious about what's going on in your area because as far as I can tell, it's just as far as the eye can see mountain bike events. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I do want to talk about that. We've got some other things going on. There's, you guys are aware of this, people that have been around for long enough. There was a very limited run of merch that I did a long time ago, but there's something in the works and maybe we'll unveil a little tease tonight. So that would be kind of fun. I haven't done it in basically years. The idea of that is just, it always takes time from other stuff. So I'm stoked that something's working out here and it is actually happening. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I got a little teaser for you guys. We're going to have a field report from a field reporter that's somebody you'll know. So we're going to have that going on this evening. And then the rest is off to the races. So we can talk about anything we want to talk about tonight here live on YouTube. I appreciate you guys jumping in, hanging out with me for at least a little bit on this Friday night. And if you leave early, I don't blame you either. Just say goodbye, all right? Just make sure you say goodbye. All right. Here's the deal. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially mountain biking season. We've got just a slew of events, and I've got back from a couple of them recently, and I've got stories to tell, all right? Because we had, I think we did a Sedona live stream. I did a last-minute live stream once. We talked a little bit about the Sedona Fest. If you guys missed that or you want to talk about Sedona, I could glaze over some of the details and what happened there. But the most recent event was Sea Otter, okay? And Sea Otter was a madhouse. It was absolutely crazy. Now, I have to preface this by explaining Sea Otter because when you say Sea Otter, people think you're talking about an animal, but really it's the Sea Otter Classic. And the Sea Otter Classic is a biking event. And it's not just mountain biking. It's road biking, it's gravel biking, it's everything. It's just biking in general. So it turns out it is far more massive than anything like Sedona or anything else because there's just a massive amount of vendors out there. It's just, if anybody saw the pictures, I did a lot of story posts on Instagram. That was kind of like how I kept everybody up to date. And it was just massive. It's hard to get to all the vendors in the time that you have. Now, I will say, once you get in, so basically, if you guys are familiar with Laguna Seca Raceway, that's where the event is held. And so that's actually growing up, I used to play Gran Turismo and Forza and stuff like this. So I'd play racing video games. And I remember racing that track a lot. So it's really interesting, being in the center of the track. I thought it'd be rad if we could ride e-bikes around the track or something, but I don't think they actually had the track open. But I think that'd be a rad idea because there was people actually racing out there because mostly it's race oriented. It's not like you're going out there just to ride casually. You're just going out there to register for enduro, downhill, the dual slalom, all this stuff. Really pretty cool to watch. Okay. Pretty cool to watch. But I have yet to register for an actual race. I've only done that one XC race at the Whiskey 50, which is another event that's going on. So we're going to talk about that as well. But Sea Otter was really cool, and it was cool to talk to a lot of the vendors. And somebody asked me recently, I jumped on a podcast for The Pursuit, and Adam, the host, was asking me, what was the coolest thing you saw at Sea Otter? And I came to the realization that I didn't even look at any of this stuff. The whole point is to unveil new product or show off what you're working on. I didn't even really do that. I ended up just going to places and talking with everybody, running into people. you know, obviously Seabass was there. Outside Brendan was there. Christian Pepper was there. It was Heather Muniv was there. Brian BKC was there. There was a ton of creators. So, of course, you end up talking with them. I hung out with Dustin Klein. That's a fun little story we'll talk about. But, like, then it just ends up going to all the booths and talking to, you know, the people that you know now and being like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, how's everything working? Like, what's it like? So it's funny that I didn't really I don't go to analyze the products. There's people on the internet for that, guys, and it's not me. I think you guys are all aware of this by this point. I think you're all aware of this. Now, Calirado, you going to TDS, says Wade. Wade, 100%. In fact, we're going to talk about that tonight. But yes, I am going early tomorrow. I'll be there all weekend. I'll be at TDS Enduro for the first time. Seabass is already out there. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know what to expect from the TDS Enduro, but it should be wild. But going back to Sea Otter. So, funny story, when I drove into Sea Otter and I set up my tent, it was like last minute on a Friday night. And so like I was fighting daylight to set up my tent. They get us like a campsite down at the bottom of the hill where it's like a massive climb back up to the event. So I've got this campsite and it's just all overgrown field basically. They haven't even trimmed the grass or anything. It's fine. You're camping. It doesn't really matter. But you got to ride your bike to get to a porta potty and stuff. It's like, it was fine. Everything was great. They were pretty gracious about everything. But the problem was my campsite rested on a hillside, and that's maybe one of the first times I've had to sleep like kind of angled, where you're just kind of like occasionally maybe trying to roll off the bed or whatever, like roll out in the sleep. It was weird. I didn't sleep very much that weekend. It was a mighty busy weekend. Maybe that contributed to the fact that my voice was completely shot by the end of Sea Otter. And I think if you guys were watching any of the stories on IG, it was just gone. And it's because, you know what it is? It's because I have a tendency to project. My voice projects. And maybe I yell too much. That could be it too. But I set up the tent and the sun's coming down, getting everything set up. And then I'm like, let me go grab my bike and do like a little quick lap to loosen up the legs and just check out the scene, you know? And I go I'm start climbing up the hill, and all of a sudden I recognize somebody. Turns out it's the one and only Dustin Klein. Dustin Klein is a good buddy of mine. He makes incredible content on the old internets, especially YouTube. And he is one of the ones how I did a collaborative reel with, like, it was like the first time mountain biking. That video on TikTok went over 5 million views, which is pretty cool. And so I realized when I originally uploaded that video, which I did recently, and this is why, originally when I uploaded it, YouTube limits shorts to 1 minute. Like it has to be specifically 1 minute. If it's 1 minute and 1 second, it puts it as a full length video. So what I did is I actually trimmed that video. It was 1 minute and 2 seconds. Okay. I actually spent a bunch of time this week editing down those 2 seconds and then sending that out as an actual short, because that video is still one of the best. And like, it's been going crazy right now. So anyways, that's Dustin Klein. He's really funny. And it was a really interesting experience when we collaborated on that video, because oftentimes when I go out and film, I'm just by myself. I have to kind of direct myself. I've got to do everything. It was fun working with him because he's really creative too. So a lot of those lines he added, it was like, and we've talked about this before, but like when we talk about like the curly bars on the gravel bike, he's like, you should say curly bars. And like, again, that resonated with a lot of people. They were commenting on it and things like that. So like, that was awesome. So that video, like I said, went over 5 million on TikTok, and we're hoping it'll do the same on YouTube now that I actually put it in its proper format. I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I originally did it, but that's why it came up on the page recently. That's just a little backstory for Dustin Klein. Anyways, ran into him and we ended up just talking until it was dark, and it was super cool. It's just like those random occurrences. You didn't know he was going to be there, and it was great. So again, another content creator story, but we always find each other, don't we? We're like moths to the light, and we'll track them down one way or another. All right. If you went to Sea Otter, I would know all the YouTubers and they wouldn't know me. Yeah, I know. That's kind of how, like, that's why we get approached a lot. And it's tricky now because I really do try to remember people's names and whether or not we've met before, because it's hard now, because like if you telling stories of Sedona and telling stories of Sea Otter, I mean, we can't make it. like there's a reason why I lost my voice. And I think it's because I never get a chance to stop all day, and I don't take myself into priority. Like, so I would say, for example, I was talking with somebody at a booth, and then I would be like, all right, well, I got to go get some water. And so I'll go walk to go get water or something. And in the meantime, somebody grabs me. Somebody else, not physically or emotionally, but let's take a picture, or it's some other, like I run into somebody at a booth or something. And so I just never quite got around to getting water or food. You know what I mean? So it wasn't until 4 o'clock in the afternoon we were going to go watch the dual slalom, and I was hanging out with Seabass, and we were hiking up there. I was like, man, I got to drink some water, dude. I'm like I think I was dehydrated. I think I just lost track of time. It was one of those things that happened. But if you guys watched any of my IG stories, you'll know there's very few times when the Calirado Kid's not speaking a lot, and that was one of them right there. I got to figure it out. I got to just carry water with me, but it's fine. Yeah, but it was pretty crazy. Yeah, it's funny talking to people, and I got to hang out with Eric Porter also. Eric Porter's like one of the raddest dudes. I've hung out with him in Sedona. We talk back and forth occasionally via text, and so just finally saw him at the Diamondback booth. And I just walked in there. We just talked for like 30 minutes, just hanging out, and it was funny. The group of kids came up to take pictures with him. And I had to let Eric know. I said, look, Eric, I know you're a famous racer and all that, but these guys, they asked me to take a picture earlier. So they took pictures with me already. So, I mean, okay, you're second fiddle. Okay, Eric Porter. That guy's so rad. Anyways, we had a great conversation. It was super fun talking to him. And his kids absolutely shred. If you guys don't know who Eric Porter is, it's bonkers. I actually made a comment. I was like, Eric, how is it that your kids are not only better at mountain biking than me, but also better at snowboarding? Like, the only thing I have on them at this point is the mustache. And that's going to take them a while to catch up on that one. So I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good right now. All right, let's catch up. What are you guys doing in chat? Good to see you guys on this Friday night. Will is in here. AZ MTB is in here. Good to see you, buddy. How you liking your Oso? That thing is a monster machine. Now, funny story, Will. When I was at Sea Otter, I went over to the old Ibis booth just to let them know how sexy the Oso was. Because I remember when they originally announced the Oso, there was a lot of controversy over the design. I happen to enjoy different design features on things, cars, bikes, whatever. I think when they look different, I was like, it's elegant. And to me, I like it. So I like the Oso a lot. We ended up talking about a lot of stuff. And we were there for 20, 30 minutes, just hanging out at the Ibis tent, just hanging out. And that was really cool. I was like, because we were talking about the e-bike game too, and talking about the scene and how I made a series of videos with the IMBA, which is the International Mountain Bike Association. I'm basically like a superstar. All right, look, I don't want to talk about myself too much, but that's what we're here for, right? Anyways, we did a series of videos with the International Mountain Bike Association about e-bike awareness, and it was pretty casual. It was fun, approachable, and all that stuff. That was the premise. Hey, let's just talk about e-bikes in a friendly way. And just the outpouring that they got on their Facebook page of just negativity was mind-boggling. I have kids. I would define it as childish. You know what I mean? Where the IMBA does a lot of work for trail awareness, getting trails built, all that stuff. And it's just you put an e-bike, you saw, if you guys saw my videos, it wasn't it was tongue in cheek, just kind of basic e-bike rules and things like that. They were just e-bikes are real bikes. It was just that, just nonstop. And I'm like, dude, can you imagine? I don't know. It's hard to deal with, but what can you say? I don't know. I don't want to judge anybody, but I thought it was funny. Their Facebook was just blown up with that stuff. But the reception in general was very positive on that. I think the idea of awareness for trail stuff and rules and just, being together, working together, whether it be with hikers or whatever else, we all got to get along on the trails. I think that's really the premise. We may be working on some more videos on the future in that. So there you go. Evans MTB says you got to make it to the Trifecta MTB Fest season with bike. Dude, so I've been talking with the Bentonville Bike Fest, and they reached out, and they are willing to get me out there. The problem is, one, it's kind of short notice for me, and two, the flights and stuff are insanely expensive. My son's birthday is around that weekend. I'd love to get out to Bentonville Bike Fest, but then you look at $600 round trip per person, plus everything that all the costs associated. It's just I'm already losing money at this whole thing, right? So I really did consider it. There's also another event going. We're going to dive right into the events. Trust me, there's tons of events going on. But there's a reason why I probably won't make it out there, but I would love to. If not, I'm definitely going to make it out to Bentonville probably next year. I'd like to make a dedicated trip out there and spend a week or something to just hang out with everybody, ride, and do all that stuff. I actually got to look at a map where Bentonville is. One of these days, I'll figure it out. One of these days, we'll figure it out. Okay, so let's see. Oso is very good, says Will. Very good. Such a fun bike. Yeah, it's sexy looking. They asked me when I was at the tent, they're like, hey, have you ridden one? I'm like, no, what am I, a millionaire? Or Will? Jesus. Will had a kid and he bought a new bike. Look at this guy. The balls on this guy. Huh? Anyways, sorry, let's get distracted. All right, so events that are going on. All right, let's jump right into it. Sea Otter, if you guys want to hear any more Sea Otter stories or have any questions about Sea Otter, let me know. It was crazy. We ended up talking with a lot of people. But upcoming events, TDS Enduro is going on this week. Now, my understanding is I may or may not have cell service out there. I've been out there once before with Seabass, normal mountain biker. We did a trail dig day. And if you guys aren't familiar with this, okay, I wasn't super familiar with this, so I had to kind of brush up. The TDS Enduro as a whole. This is private property. It's privately owned land where they just have some of the most shreddable trails on the planet, or at least in Northern California. I guess, let's say on the planet. It sounds better, doesn't it? Anyways, it's privately owned property. And so they hold this race once a year, the TDS Enduro. And my understanding is if you ever want to ride out there, since it's private, you have to make sure you go out and do a dig day at some point, which is rad. Again, it's private property. He doesn't care. So you go out and you help build up the trails for the race and things like that. Seabass and I had done that once before. And we had the idea for a good, like, funny collaborative idea. But, man, our schedules just couldn't match up. That guy's too busy, and I don't appreciate it sometimes. But so the TDS Enduro is like just this wild party race that happens out in Grass Valley. And so I'm stoked. At first, I didn't think they'd want the Calirado Kid out there because, like, I'm known for my hijinks, you know. I'm not known as, like, being associated with the racing scene. I'm not sure how it's going to be taken. But everybody that I've talked to has been rad, super cool. And I'm stoked to get out there. So I'm going to head out early tomorrow morning. My goal is if I could do a lot of different, like, a lot of coverage on it and kind of give you guys an overview, that would be the ideal scenario. But if I don't have any cell service, I'll just record a bunch of stuff and I'll upload it later. Now, what I would like to do is actually make a YouTube video. Believe it or not, you guys are here on YouTube. I've been itching to make long form videos again, and I'm bringing everything. Let's see if I can make something this weekend, huh? Let's see if I can make something of this. I'd love to start bringing in the big time YouTube videos again. Fun fact, my YouTube subscriber count is getting very close to passing my Instagram follower count, which is crazy. I never thought I'd see that happen. But dude, we're about to hit 80. What are we at? 85,000 or something now? Dude, this year we could get 100,000. I could get like a silver plaque on the back of the wall for making stupid videos on the internet. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah, anyways, speaking of TDS Enduro, now this is important, guys. This is important. I've got a man in the field, and I wanted to give you guys a TDS report, okay? It's brief, but we need to understand what's going on out there. So I'm going to reach out to my guy in the field right now. We're going to reach out to my guy in the field. Hold on. We're going to make sure he's ready to go live, okay? Yeah. Yeah, you ready? Okay, we're going to be good. All right, good. Guys, we're cutting live now as we speak out to the TDS Enduro. My guy in the field. Here he goes. Normal mountain biker, Seabass, reporting from TDS Enduro. Let's go.
Yo, Seabass here reporting from the Dirty Sanchez. As you can see, we've got lots of festivities, dirt bikers roaming around, dust, berms, jumps, drops, all the whole 9 yards. This place is awesome. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're going to be racing, having a good time out here, hopefully staying safe, keeping the rubber side down. Joe, make these people laugh, dude. I don't know what kind of podcast you're doing. You haven't told me any details about it, so I apologize in advance. However, it's going to be a good time regardless. See you guys later.
Look, that's a lot of pressure, Sebastian, to make you guys laugh. That's a lot of pressure on my shoulders. Not, you know, like I almost guarantee that nobody in here has laughed yet tonight. But thanks for being here on this Friday night. Anyways, you heard it there first. Sebastian is out there. He has been out there all day partying. He's going to be racing on Sunday. He's in the e-bike division. So I got to get some coverage of that. That's going to be great. But anyways, there it is. TDS Enduro is about to happen this weekend, and it's going to get wild, quite spicy. So expect some good footage from the Calirado Kid right here. Dude, I was just at TDS and it was holy crap amazing, says Eric Von Ruden. Yes, I'm stoked. So again, anybody that's not on the West Coast that's not familiar with it, just stay tuned, man. Stay tuned to the IG. Stay tuned here. It's going to be pure hijinks and pure mayhem. So be prepared. And it should be pretty wild. Okay, good. You guys are laughing. Larry says he's laughing. Perfect. Okay, now, next up, there's another event taking place. And again, if you guys got events going on in your area, let me know. I'd be curious to know what's going on. Evans, by the way, says, hey, I had to look at a map too. It's very close to Tulsa. It's basically Oklahoma, Missouri, drivable from the Tulsa airport. I also don't know where any of those places are. I've heard of them, but I got to actually look at a map. It's funny how geographically unsavvy I am. I know like California and New York, and I know where Colorado is because I live there, but like everything in between, it's just a big old mush to me. So I'm going to figure it out. Don't worry. The following weekend, this is important, Dirt Daze is happening. So if you guys are a local rider or anything like that, Dirt Daze is an incredible event put on by the one and only, can I stand up enough to see the t-shirt? Yeah, that's right. MTB NorCal. This is the 3rd year that they've done it, and it's fun, man. I would give it like a Sedona vibe, but in Nevada City. And so it's bike demos. You just get to go group riding. There's food, there's vendors, there's all kinds of stuff. It's really intimate. It's not big like Sea Otter, which I think is to its benefit, because like Sea Otter, you get lost in the crowd. It's like almost hard to see people. Once you see them, they're gone. You never see them again. Here, you all get to hang out. So that's coming up, and that is Dirt Daze happening on May 6th. So I will be out there as well. It's a busy time for the Calirado Kid. Like I told the wife and kids, I'm like, please be patient with me here. This is going to be the last one for a little while, because it's just getting crazy. It's just getting crazy. And I was like, it's kind of event season, so let's just get through a bunch of these. And now Sea Otter's out of the way and all that stuff. Now, another thing that there's another event coming up, but let's talk about something rad that happened, okay? I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but I recently got sponsored by Everyman Jack. And what I didn't know, if you guys aren't familiar with Everyman Jack, they make, look at me, watch this. Beautiful shot. They make a lot of like men's products. So like body wash, deodorants, beard oils, things like that. Well, mustache cream is what I'm calling it. But they've been incredibly cool. When they reached out, I was like, okay, awesome. I didn't realize how big of a brand they were, but they're very, very cool. They brought me out to the headquarters. Okay. So that was one of the stipulations we were kind of talking about working together. They're like, dude, we'd love to bring you out to the HQ, which is in Mill Valley, just outside of San Francisco. And I was 100% on board. I love that idea. One of the things I really like is the idea of like going and seeing the culture behind the people that I work with. Like I want to do that with Revel as well. I'd love to get out to Carbondale. I talked to Adam several times. Once the snow starts melting out there, I want to go to Carbondale, just hang out and shop with everybody. But I went to the HQ, and they had organized such a rad time for me. It was like we went down. They gave me a tour of the facility, which is kind of like right on the water, just outside of the Golden Gate Bridge, basically. And the culture was very cool. One of the things we talked about there while we were at the old Everyman Jack HQ is like how everybody in the office seemed to be like pretty happy. And I had a sneaking suspicion it was because everybody was very outdoorsy, right? Does that make sense? Like, so, you know, they're always out riding bikes, or they're out surfing, or they're out like hiking or trail running or something like that. And so like you looked at, and that comes through in the culture of the office. Like everybody was just happy because you guys notice that when you go on a ride, right? Like if you haven't ridden for a week, don't you get a little antsy? You a little antsy? But if you go on a ride, you feel better afterwards and stuff like that. I have to imagine, like, if you have a culture where it's like open to adventure, you're just so much happier. And I felt that there. Like a lot of the people, like the head of marketing, we went riding together up on Mount Tam. They took me on a massive ride, and it was a blast. It was a massive ride. It was like 23 miles and like 3,400 feet of climbing, which, okay, maybe that's not massive to some people, but that was a pretty big ride. But I did it perfectly. I don't even think I sweated. But we did that, and it was really cool. It was just like going out on a big ride, and then we rode our bikes into the city, which is San Francisco for you guys that don't know. We took the ferry across from Sausalito. We loaded the bikes on the ferry, took it across. You get a view of Alcatraz as you float by, okay, like that. If you can see my hand moving, that would symbolize Alcatraz as it moves across. So you get this beautiful view, and you come into the city, and we rode through the city, and we got food and coffee and all this other stuff. And the next day we went over to, I guess they call it technically the cycling museum, but like really to me, it's like the mountain biking museum, right? And so they've got this out in Marin, and it's really cool because you go in, and the one and only Joe Breeze and his wife are there. And it's like the coolest thing because you get to talk to one of the guys who really kind of founded and started mountain biking. Dude, how rad was that? Just to sit around and talk shop with Joe Breeze. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with him, I suggest, and this was something that was suggested to me by Robert, the old B1ker biker, another incredible podcaster, by the way. I'm not another one. I'm not a podcaster, but he is. Anyways, he recommended me watch Clunkers. If you guys haven't watched Clunkers, it's really interesting because it talks about like the history of mountain biking and where it all started. This right here isn't an actual representation of what a clunker would look like, but it's pretty close. Can I zoom in on that? Will it work? No, it doesn't. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. So the idea was like mountain bikes didn't exist. So they had to kind of like come up with a solution to the problem. And so these guys were just in jeans and flannels and barely workable brakes, and they're just putting their foot down to come around the corner and stuff like that. But it's a really cool story. Anyways, he was there telling stories of the past, and he just knew so much about like every little part on the bikes because all these guys eventually got into like designing their own bikes because they didn't exist. So they had to kind of like make stuff. It was really cool. It was really cool. I did some posts on IG on my story about it. I should like go out there and make an actual video because it is really fascinating. And if you're into the sport, if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend it. God, man, I forget the name of it. It's like the cycling museum. It's in Marin, but I'm sure if you search mountain bike museum, it would come right up. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. So it was a really cool trip. And I'm really fortunate. I'm really stoked to work with them. If you guys ever want, if you're out in a store and you see them, you don't have, I mean, you could buy it. Obviously, it doesn't support me directly by buying it. But if you like took a picture and tagged me and said, thanks, Calirado, good recommendation. Or you could do that too. Anyways, they've been rad. They basically said, like, make whatever you want. We dig it. And it's been a tremendous relationship. So that's been very good. And then, of course, I do work with Worldwide Cyclery, right? You guys know that. Worldwide Cyclery, Jeff and Jared, the crew is awesome there. So there's been a couple people that have really been supportive of this. And Revel sent me over the bike to play around with for a while. And that's been incredible. They've been really cool. We've had some fortunate things on the old Calirado Kid channel, haven't we? I thought I'd give you guys a financial breakdown, by the way. You guys ever interested in like how much like millions of views gets you on YouTube? It's comically bad. So they've recently done like a new adjustment to like how revenue works on shorts. I'm not going to complain because like I do put a lot of work into my shorts, but like they're not the same as long form videos because they're only a minute long or whatever. How do you advertise on that? I don't know. Anyways, I was doing the calculations. I saw some deposits in the old bank account the other day, for like, I think 2.5 million views over the course of 28 days. I think YouTube paid me out about $118. So we're on the up and up. So a part of it, like, you have to understand a lot of that's like, and then like, I think Facebook and Meta, which is Instagram, paid me like 35. I think I'm like at $180. That's how much this all brings in. It's comically bad. So I'm stoked that whenever I do like a paid partnership or a sponsorship that you guys are on board with it. And hopefully you are, because it's otherwise it's comically bad. I always thought the finance side was interesting because you never quite know. You never quite know. But it's, anyways. Watching random video says, I'm using Everyman Jack products now. Thank you. Yes. No, they are really good. I've been using them nonstop, actually. And I text the guys over there now because I just harass people whenever they give me an opportunity. And I'm like, what if you had like a high heat version of the deodorant? Because I really do. I leave a stick in the truck for like after really like nasty, sweaty rides. And then I'll just like throw some on to freshen up. So if I'm driving with anybody, like I don't smell like a complete poo, And I was like, what if you had a high heat version that didn't like get affected by the heat? And you could just leave it like an after ride stick. I don't know, just a thought. And they're like, that's stupid. They didn't actually say that, but I'm sure they thought it. Anyways. Oh man, True X Fan 19. Bye everyone. Where are you going, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in here. All right. MTB Texas Bike Rider says, cool. Do you ever ride Austin? They have some really cool MTB trails. I don't know if he's asking me specifically, but I have only been to Austin once, and it was for a bachelor party. And Austin was a pretty cool town. Pretty cool town. I just remember hanging out on like 6th Street, getting a lot of barbecue and drinking a lot of beers. It was there was no riding involved at the time, but it was pretty interesting. Look at this. Trail Mesh is jumping in. He says, what's up, Joe? Bummed that I'm not going to make it to Dirt Daze this year and miss seeing everybody, but I'm racing Nevada Enduro weekend after. Why aren't you coming to Dirt Daze, Mesha? You have to come. You've come the last 2 years. You've got to come to Dirt Daze. It is an incredible event. Although there's forecast for rain, so what are the chances it's like 95 degrees out all of a sudden here, and then next week it could rain? Who the hell knows what's happening around here? But the weather's been absolutely bonkers. But we'll take it. We're going to just settle in and we're going to deal with it, aren't we? Us Californians have a tendency to complain really easily. Like I've discovered this, and like we're kind of approaching our complaint meter, like our level of a complaint meter, meaning like it rained a lot this year and we need the rain. So like, obviously you have to preface any complaint with like, oh, but we need it. So, but like Californians, they don't like too much rain. Okay. They don't like it when it's too hot. They don't like it when it's too cold. We're just very particular, us Californians. And this year it rained a lot, which is good. But also people were like, that's enough. That's a little too much, isn't it? And I always joke about that. It's funny because like anywhere else across the country, I think of like Minnesota in a deep freeze during the winter. And we're like, I'd rather just have some sun today. It's just like one day of rain. It's just weird. It's like when Californians move anywhere else, we don't know how to drive in the snow. Like we're not used to it at all. I got conditioned when I drove to Colorado. Like when I moved to Colorado, I wasn't mountain biking at the time, which is the worst because like Colorado's got some of the best riding ever. But when I moved to Colorado, I had a Mustang at the time, which was like a 2012 Mustang, a 5.0 Mustang. This thing had like 400 something horsepower, right? That doesn't work very well in the snow. And I remember getting laughed at by coworkers because we had a parking lot that was just slightly, ever so slightly inclined like this. And I pulled up into the snow and then I like tried to go up into the parking spot and everybody was just watching me out the windows, like just spinning the tires in the snow, looking like an absolute fool. It wasn't that long after that I got rid of the Mustang and got an F-150. And that worked a lot better. I was able to transport snowmobiles and things like that while I was in college. Look, I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked, didn't I? But here we are. So Dirt Daze is coming up May 6th. Now, something else that's interesting that's happening for me, and I don't know if it's for you, because not all you guys are local, so I don't want to bore you guys. Like I said, if you got questions in chat, put some questions for me. This is why we're here doing a live stream. We'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. But there's also an event coming up in Lake Tahoe, I believe on May 27th, which is a fundraiser for TAMBA, which is the local trail organization up there in Tahoe. They do incredible work. They were... They've got a fundraiser going on May 27th. They want me to be a part of. So we're going to talk about that and see if I can make it up there. It's going to be a little tricky because it's my son's birthday. But if we can make a weekend of it, I think it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to try and get up there and be a part of that too, which could be pretty rad. So we're going to be discussing that. That is an upcoming event. And I'm stoked on, like, I wish I could make it to all the events, but you got to realize, like, you guys know how it is. When you travel to everywhere, it gets expensive really fast. Really fast. And so like with hotel stays or camping or whatever else, plus the drive time, plus this, plus that, you guys know how it goes, man. You know how it goes. So it's really tricky to make everything. And so like I've got one, we just did Sea Otter, and then we've got the TDS this weekend, and then we've got Dirt Daze, and then I've got a little spare time in between. So calm down, allow me to film more. It's tricky because a lot of the times I film stuff on the weekends, and when there's events, like I get very busy at the events and I don't always film. So I'm hoping to film a lot this weekend. We'll see. It's going to be a madhouse out there. So, I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen? You just got to be willing to improvise. So we're going to figure it out. We are going to figure it out. Okay, I'm catching up on chat. I am catching up on chat. Kids have a softball tournament. Mesha, that's no excuse, all right? Just pull them out of softball, all right? Just pull them out of softball. Okay, I'm going to K Funny says, I'm going to an MTB camp this summer and everyone there is a lot better than me and I'm really nervous. That's perfect, K Funny. That's good. That's exactly what you want. Don't feel nervous. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be worse than people. That's how you get better. One of the reasons why you get better as a rider is when you go ride and hang out with people that ride better. If you don't, you're just going to stay at your own skill level. So don't be afraid of that. Jump right in and just like do your best. That's all you can do. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Just go out and have a fun time and you'll probably pick up a ton of new stuff in terms of skill sets and everything like that. I mean, I think most riders will tell you, if you go ride with somebody it's highly skilled and you follow them down a hill, you'll go faster. I can attest to that. I remember when I started riding with the old MTB NorCal guys, Sean and Don, they were far better riders than I were. And I remember riding with them and heading downhill, and I got faster because I was watching their lines and keeping up with them, and it immediately boosted my confidence versus just going down solo or taking the lead. Like, it was fun following them because I was going faster than ever because, again, you could see them go through stuff. You're like, okay, we could do that. You get less timid. So when you follow good riders, and especially if they're a good guide, okay? I have good guide stories. When I went out to the North Shore with the old Dangerous Dave and Van Can, they were incredible hosts. They took me out to the North Shore, which, if you guys aren't familiar with the North Shore, is incredibly gnarly riding. I mean, for them, it's not gnarly anymore, apparently. But for me, when you see skinnies, it's like one thing to ride a skinny like on the ground. It's another thing to ride a skinny like 12 feet off the ground where you're going to die if you fall off. And that's what the North Shore is like. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyways, Van Can is incredibly gracious. So is Dangerous Dave. They were like, hey, here's this feature. You don't have to ride it. We just want to make sure you see it. Like, there's the perfect guides to that area. There was no pressure to ride anything I didn't feel comfortable with. They just made sure I saw everything. And it was a great tour. I got a chance to take them out to Highline. We went to Highline in Sedona, and that was a double black trail, which is a good trail. But I was like, you guys can just take the lead because you guys know how to ride this stuff. It's going to be easy for you. And sure enough, they could just dominate stuff. So it was really fun riding with them. They're incredible riders. But if you guys watch their stuff, it's a shred extravaganza. You know what I mean? A shred extravaganza. That's right. We've quoted that term. We've coined that term, haven't we? Sure we have. Mm-hmm. All right. Wannabe MTB says, Joe, what trail area do you recommend in Grand Junction area? Palisades. I rode the lunch loops when I was out there, and that was courtesy of the Crashing Dad and RC Outdoor Gold. They showed me around the lunch loops. Super fun. And now it's kind of techy. It's kind of tech riding. So depending on your skill set, Wannabe MTB, you may have to just kind of be careful. Palisade has a new one called the Palisade Plunge, but I heard it's kind of treacherous. Like it's a pretty big ride. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't ridden it. And then there's also just outside of Grand Junction, there is it Fruta? I'm thinking of Fruta. Yeah, there's some great trails in Fruta also. If you look at Trail Forks, there's the Horse Thief Bench. There's a loop down in the canyon over there that's got some tremendous views. So some things to consider right there. You can always shoot me a DM on IG if none of that makes sense, and I can give you better recommendations. Wannabe MTB. Okay. Yeah. All right. AZMTB says, Rob Drew from here in Phoenix is at the TDS Enduro. Okay, so I'll run into Rob Drew maybe. I'll make sure if I see him, I'll say hi. For sure. For sure. Okay, let's see. What else? Like I said, if you guys got questions in chat, just let me know. In addition to that, some of the things we talk about here in the old Calirado Kid channel, it's been a very long time. Very long time since I've done a merch drop. And so this is kind of interesting. I've been working on something behind the scenes with Trail Monos. They reached out. And they had a great concept for something, and so we kind of fleshed it out a little bit. And they had like a good idea, and then I made it like a not good idea. It's like kind of like my specialty. So I took this idea of making some Calirado Kid gloves, and I made it preposterous, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It really just fit the Calirado Kid theme. You guys are familiar with some of the videos that have done the best for me, or at least in the past, were mountain bike excuses. You know, I've always thought it's funny when people come up with excuses on the trail. So I thought, how do I translate that into like a product? And this is going to result in just nobody buying this. But if you do, it's going to support the Calirado Kid. Look, so this is this is something that's in the works. I can unveil like a kind of behind the scenes since we're here live. And if you guys are in here, you're going to get a little sneak peek, okay, on the product. We don't have it in hands yet. So my understanding, I was talking with Nick over at Trail Monos. They are going to be coming in. Okay, and they're coming in May. So we're saying as a tentative launch next month, okay, we're still in April, right? Yeah, so we're going to be a tentative launch next month. I'll spread the word because I've got a great idea for a video to like really announce it. But since you guys are here in the live stream, we're going to give you a sneak peek anyways, and that's kind of my style. I like it. Live streams are the best because you guys put up with me, all right? So I want to give you guys some behind the scenes stuff before anybody else gets to see it, all right? So here it is. What we're working on is a pair of gloves with Trail Monos, the Calirado Kid gloves. This is just as dumb as you would expect it to be. Well, look at these things. All right, so check it out. Okay, this is like, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. You're going to kind of see a side view of it, and I'm kind of going to explain it. I'm going to paint the picture for you, okay, real quick before I show them off. Now, imagine, if you will, you're on the trail, and there's a guy in front of you. Your buddy is just in tremendous shape, okay, and he's just hauling ass up the trail. You're falling behind. Okay, it's understandable. It happens. Can you tell him that you're out of shape? 100% no. You can't. No, you can't tell him that you're out of shape. What you've got to do is you got to come up with a good excuse for why you're lagging behind. And that's where I come in. That's where the Calirado Kid comes in. All right, that's where the Calirado Kid. Okay, I know what I got to do. I was telling a great story, by the way. I totally screwed it up. I know exactly what I did. Give me a second. I got to switch back to that screen, and then I've got to add the audio source on it. You're going to have video for, like, sorry, guys, I screwed that up. What do you expect? All right, take it easy. All right, I was painting a great picture, too. I screwed this up. All right, hold on. I got to add the audio source in OBS. And just like that, we've got audio back. All right, cool. We're there. All right, so here's the deal. Okay, so let me paint the picture for you, if you will. Did you guys already catch this? All right, so basically the idea is if you're on the trail, okay, wait, can I come over here? Yeah, there we go. All right, if you're on the trail and your buddy's just riding better than you, you've got to come up with a viable excuse. And you know what? This is where the Calirado Kid comes in to help you guys. Trust me. So look at these gloves. If you look at them, you're going to see excuses written on the letters. Now, more importantly, if you look on the inside of the glove, the interior, which you can't quite see, there's a mustache. Okay, so basically you can come up like this, you can have the mustache, and you can read an excuse off the glove, and you'll be ready in a no time. In the nick of time, the Calirado Kid will help you. It's a preposterous idea, and it's crazy enough to not work. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Calirado Kid's first merch drop in years, and it's as bad as you would expect. But I'm really proud of it. I think it's funny as hell. So anyways, that's what we're working on. You can see there's actually some good ones that you can't see, some good excuses on the gloves on both hands, but there is a mustache on the interior side that you guys can look forward to. So the Calirado Kid gloves are coming. This is a sneak peek. Once I get them in, I'll make an official video. And we'll talk about it some more, but if you want to support me, that's one way to do it, and I apologize in advance. All right, let's jump right over back here. Okay. God. Right? What do you guys think? Is it too much? It's too much, huh? I don't know. But I'll do an official unveil, and if we sell out, maybe I'll look really good. But I don't know. I could have thought something more practical, but I love the idea of the catchphrase, you always have an excuse handy. Match made in heaven. Trail Monos and the Calirado Kid coming together to make a glove. And probably will be the last merch I do in a very long time. I just I have an idea for a shirt too, but it's everybody just tells me it's not good. So I was like, all right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, let me catch up on chat. What do you guys think about that? You think it's you guys are I just imagine everyone's like this. Why am I here on a Friday night? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are here hanging out with me on a Friday night for the behind the scenes exclusive look at the Calirado Kid gloves. Hold on. Up North POV says, need advice for my YouTube channel so I can grow. On what element of YouTube videoism? Editing, thumbnail, title, Up North. I could speak on it for hours. The more technical you get during a live stream, the quicker you lose your audience, I've discovered. So, there's a couple core components that you really need for developing a good YouTube channel. And, oh, geez, now he's just spamming it. All right, so we're going to put you on timeout, buddy, but you got to take it easy. Either way, I don't know how to do anything anymore. Nothing's working. Oh, this Mac is weird. Anyways, thanks you guys for jumping in. Have you heard of Junkyard Trail in Auburn? I don't know if I have or not. Okay, let's see. I want a mustache, please. Yeah, you just gotta be tremendously athletic, and a mustache will just grow in. That's usually how it works. I'm here standing my pads and rotors, but I still wonder why I'm here. Wait, I heard that there's a trick for getting your pads to work. Is you put them underwater. I saw that recently. I don't know if that's true, but you can put them underwater and condition them like that. Up North POV, so for creating content, the trick is just if you're already making stuff, you just got to do it more. You get better at it, but you got to have a vision for what you want to make. Is it, you can make vlog style stuff. There's less traffic on vlog style stuff these days, but it's still really fun to make and it's really interesting. You can make review based stuff. You've just got to figure out where you want to fit in. Like me, it tends to be a lot of humor stuff, but it's also my personality. So find something that's like your personality and develop it, and just get better at editing. Watch edits. Learn what a J cut is. Learn how to tighten it up. I've watched a video like today on YouTube where I clicked on it because I follow people and I'll click on it and they just waste so much time. It's a great example of a classic editing technique is if you want to show your transition, hey, I'm going on a road trip. Do you spend 2 minutes showing you get in the car, get out of the, load things into the car? You've lost your audience already. You've got to think of a quicker, tighter way to make those transitions happen. If you want to learn that, go research Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is an incredible filmmaker, and he has learned how to make transitions fun to watch. Most other filmmakers have no clue how to do this, but this is a small element of editing that really grabs my attention, is the idea of how to make a transition look incredibly entertaining and be fun and things like that. You got to think outside the box. If you really want to dive in and learn, you got to dive in. And it's every video, apply a new technique, a new method. If you've never captured third person footage, you're only just going GoPro, go and start doing some third-person footage. If you've never done a voiceover, go do a voiceover. Every video, do a different technique and try to start getting better and better. And like, this is a long speech on how to improve editing, but I'm just telling you, like, there's so many ways to do it, but just over time, you will get better. You have no choice but to. If you keep pushing yourself, you have no choice but to get better. Wait a minute, Bobo's here. Good to see you, buddy. Bobo, it's too late for you. What are you doing here? Bobo, by the way, recently, if you guys haven't seen his stories on the old Instagram, he got tennis elbow, and I didn't know what that was, but apparently it's very painful. And I told him if he's going to appeal to a younger crowd, he's got to say pickleball elbow now. Like, has pickleball replaced tennis, or am I like outside of the loop here? I don't even understand what pickleball is. I haven't even played it. I don't know. I've never seen it. But what the hell is pickleball? I don't know. Anyways, now we're caught up. We're caught up. Good to see you, buddy. I'm curiously cocked on whiskey. Which whiskey, Bobo? I've actually got a bottle right here. Okay. Oh my God. That's the only reason he's here is because he's drunk. Now I know. Now this is a Dickel. Okay. All right. Take it easy, everybody in chat. Take it easy. This is a George Dickel 15. Now my understanding is actually a barrel pick, and it's signed by the master distiller. You can see. And I don't really care about signatures. That doesn't mean anything to me. But I went to a tasting event where she was signing them. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to probably throw it away. But it is cool. Anyways, this is apparently actually like a 17-year barrel pick. Because if you look at when it was actually bottled, it was far longer than this. So it's like a 17-year Dickel. It is good. It's tasty. But I've got that standing by right here. But I've got to wake up like so damn early to get out to the TDS. It's going to be a massive weekend. Probably filled with beer and debauchery. So I'm going to take it easy tonight with you guys. Okay. Otherwise, it's just going to get out of hand. It's just going to get out of hand real fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. What the hell is pickleball? Can anybody explain this to me? I don't know what it is. Anyways, we covered a lot of events here. We've got the official merch drop happening. That's something that's on the horizon like that. Now, another interesting topic, okay? Because like I said, I like to give you guys the behind the scenes a little ahead of it. I haven't announced this, but we are working in the background right now, and it is looking like Oscar, thank you. He says majestic gloves. Thank you, Oscar. Thanks for being here, by the way. Oscar gives me some crap about not making full-length videos, and he's right. He's right. I need to start making them again. I'm working up to it. Okay, timing is tricky. Yeah, any SoCal MTB events. I heard there's an event going on at Santa's Village that is supposed to be happening in June, but I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to confirm that for me, but that'd be rad to get down there for that. Again, there's so many events coming up. You want to be at all of them, but it's so hard to make them all. So we'll see how that works out. Crap, I got sidetracked. Okay, this is pretty cool. So this is almost locked in. But if you guys know Brian, the old BKXC, okay, that's a name drop. It sure is. He has always said that one of the greatest mountain bike trips that he's ever taken has been in Spain with Basque MTB riding the high Pyrenees. And it just so happens that I've got wind that he was like, the reason why Sarah, his wife, reached out and said, hey, we're doing this. So anyways, I got wind that in October, there is a trip happening to Spain with Basque MTB, which is an organization that's like similar to Chasing Epic, where you just book the trip with them, and they take care of everything. You just show up, and then everything's guided. The rooms are taken care of, all that stuff, right? The best way to go, if you guys have never done a trip like that, it's incredible. Because you don't have to worry about what trails you're going to ride. You don't have to plan anything. It just makes it so much funner. We've done this once before with Chasing Epic out in Crested Butte. One of the best mountain bike trips I've ever taken, like hands down. So there's a Basque MTB trip happening at the High Pyrenees in Spain in October. And baby, I'm going to be going. It's going to be dope. So we're locking it in. Oh, I'm so stoked. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. And so it's going to be really rad. That is coming up in October. I can't wait for that. And that's definitely filming some videos out there for that one. But that's still a little ways away. But imagine, if you will, the Calirado Kid. I'm going to fit right in. With this mustache, I'm going to fit right in. Maybe it's time to brush up on my Spanish. What do you think? Now, the last time that Brian went to Spain, he grew a mustache. And I told him that's off limits. He's no longer able to grow a mustache in Spain, because I've got to have that. That's my territory. All right. So we've made the ground rules. They're in place, but it looks like it's going to happen. So the Calirado Kid in Spain, can you guys imagine? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. There's rumors that the single track sampler is going to be there too. I don't know if that's true. He hasn't committed, so it may not even be happening. But can you imagine the mountain biking Jesus himself? This could be a hell of a trip. This could be the hell of a trip. Oh my God. Okay, Bobo says, I'm calling you out. Calirado Kid, got to come out to Asheville and see if you can hang. Yes, I'm a party animal, Bobo. I don't know if you know this or not. I usually just outdrink everyone else when we go places. Now, where you're going to get me is on the jump lines. That's where I'm just really going to just be the worst. But other than that, I don't know if I can or not. With Bobo, he's an absolute maniac. I've heard stories, tall tales of him and Paul the punter just getting into some pretty massive hijinks. And so those are the stories of legends. Those are like mountain biking lore now. Haven't we all been around long enough that there is mountain biking lore, especially with the content creators? Now, if you guys remember this, I talked about this from the Sedona Mountain Bike Fest. This was a funny story because IFHT is feeding off each other. They have their podcast, right? And I ran into Matt from IFHT. Mahalo, my dude. I ran into Matt and I ran into Jason out in Sedona. And the time that I ran into him, and I told the story in the last live stream, so I'm going to be brief here. But the time that I ran into him, it was at the after party, the official after party for Sedona. And I had come out off the dance floor because the trails were closed, by the way. There was a lot of snow everywhere. So we were on the dance floor just tearing it up for like hours. So I came outside. It was cold out, snow on the ground. I just had to cool off. I was probably steaming. I probably looked like incredible, like just majestic, just like my gloves. Probably looked majestic. Anyways, Matt and Jason walk out. And I'm like, hey, guys, what's up? I have to assume they knew who I was. Luckily, they did. And we got to talking. I was just telling stories of the day. And I was like, hey, you guys are pretty quiet, Like, they're like, yeah, we had a busy day. I'm like, yeah, I had a busy day too, man. I've been talking for 10 hours straight, but here I am. Anyways, I'm a good talker. So anyways, they're kind of just topping it up. I respect the hell out of what they do. They're incredible filmmakers. Like, it's so good. I go back, watch some of their old videos. I'm like, dude, they're so much better than anything I've ever even thought of making. Anyway, so they tell this story on their podcast about this incident because right after that, I basically said, look, nice meeting you guys. I got to go dominate that dance floor real quick. And so I just leave and I go through the door and there's a circle on the dance floor. People how there's a dance circle and people are just kind of taking turns. I push everybody out of the way. I jump into the center of the dance floor and bing, bang, boom, I'm off to the races. I didn't know they were watching me the whole time, but they were because they told a story on their podcast about me. And I was like, that's exactly what happened. It was funny as hell, but those guys are super nice and hope to collab with them at some point. By collab, I mean, they'll probably just make me their water boy on set one day. If I go out there, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Anyways, great story from Sedona. Always fun. And I can't wait to do it again. There are rumors that Sedona is going to get moved. Is that true? Has anybody heard these rumors? The tricky part is, of course, that Sedona Mountain Bike Festival the last 2 years has been just the weather's been atrocious. Oh God, what the hell is going on? Paul the punter is FaceTiming me. Hold on, guys. We're going to do this live. Stand by. Okay, wait, hold on. Stand by. Paul. I'm actually live on YouTube right now. Paul, you want to say hi to everybody? Yeah. Okay, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul the punter joining us live via FaceTime. Can you believe it? No. I don't have anything set up for that, but here it is. Say hi to everybody.
Hi to everybody.
There it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Paul the punter, everybody. I'm going to hang up now, Paul. Appreciate you, buddy. I'll call you later. Okay, bye. There it is. The benefit of doing a live stream, ladies and gentlemen. You got to witness Paul the punter and it's classic FaceTiming. There it is right there. Paul the punter jumping in live on accident to the Calirado Kid live stream here on this Friday night. Thanks for tuning in, Paul. I appreciate you. You didn't even know I was doing a live stream. This is how much even my friends care about me. It's quite preposterous. It's quite preposterous. But yeah, all right, let's jump into chat. What do we got going on here? Is Sedona in fact going to be moved? Documents, domination, strong rumors is moving it to fall. I think if they moved it to November or something, then it would be pretty excellent because but you never know. Weather could just go one way or another. Dirt Daze, they're calling for rain. Maybe it's anytime you host something outdoors, you're up for the elements. But the last 2 years have been kind of crazy with the weather. And it's God, if they have another year like that, it's just going to be bad news because people are just kind of I don't know if I'm going to go next year. And so we're going to see. To me, I still have a great time. It's an incredibly organized event. It's super fun. But if they do move it, then maybe that helps them on that front. We'll see. Another interesting idea. Can I float this idea to you guys real quick? Now, one of the things I talked to Joanna Yates about. Bobo's calling me. Jesus. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me put this on speaker. Bobo, how are you?
What's up?
Bobo's drunk.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
This is incredible. You never know what's going to happen with us content creators, do you, ladies and gentlemen?
No, you don't, man. That's the value of a live stream right there. That's why you guys are fucking tuning in, man. You never know what's going to go down.
This is exactly why you tune into a live stream, 100%. Now, most people that consider themselves professionals wouldn't take these calls, but you know what? I do, because that's what makes it fun to me.
That's why I knew you would fucking answer. I was like, oh, Paul's calling? Fuck that. I'm calling.
Yes, dude. You guys, this is why you tune into a Calirado live stream. You never know what's going to happen.
I love you, buddy. All right, man. I'll let you get back to it.
Sounds good, brother. Woo! You just never know what's going to happen on a Calirado live stream. Well, thank you guys for tuning in on this Friday night. It just always gets a little bit rowdy, doesn't it? It always gets a little bit rowdy. Thank you, Bobo. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you guys for your inadvertent guest appearances. Now, one of these days, because I've got a new MacBook Pro here, guys, so I still haven't fine-tuned everything. I did a tech test after Sedona on this thing, but I still haven't fine-tuned the guests, and that's the next step. So next time I do a live stream, I guarantee you I'm going to bring a guest in because it's not too hard, but I got to set up a couple graphics for it. So once I do that, I'll build that out. Then we'll be really just off to the races with this thing. But I made the mistake of like buying a really expensive MacBook Pro and only like using it twice so far. So it's just I'm going to use it. I guarantee it. I told you guys this before. I bought this thing so I could fit in at coffee shops because for my entire life, I've gone into coffee shops without a Mac and I just get looks, I get dirty looks and I don't appreciate it. Okay. I want to fit in at a coffee shop. So I got a Mac, I spent a lot of money, and now I'm going to show up proud and I'm going to wear like some really expensive headphones that I don't need because like they got to be the highest fidelity that you couldn't tell the difference on. That's really like, if you're really going to commit, you've just got to commit 192%. And that's where we're at on that. Yeah, can confirm. November in Sedona was like prime conditions. Now, let me get back to my story before Bobo called. I love it. So, okay, so Sedona, there's, do you guys know who Joanna Yates? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it Joanna. Anyways, she's out in Sedona. She does a lot of work to help organize the festival and a bunch of other stuff. We were at dinner with the Women's MTB Network, believe it or not. They let me come. Jess was there and Rich from the Semi-Sendy channel was there. We were just hanging out, kind of one of the final days of Sedona. And we got to talking, and one of the ideas that I pitched, and I actually really like this idea, but I'm not sure like how the general audience would approach this. So come in with an open mind. I'm going to need you guys' feedback on this one. So I thought, and I pitched this idea and I thought it'd be pretty cool. The idea of like a creators panel, like at the event, they have all kinds of other events going on. They have like bunny hop competitions, all this stuff. But I thought it'd be interesting if we got like some content creators in a room and did almost like a live podcast style Q&A where we just got everybody together. We told stories of like our content creation past and we took questions from the audience live. We could maybe live stream this. I don't know if we have the internet for it. We'd have to figure that out. But I thought that would be like a really cool thing just to get a bunch of creators on stage and just tell stories about stuff we've done, things we've seen, and take Q&A live. I thought that'd be interesting. She was open to it. It would be like a lot to organize it and just get it like promoted and stuff like that. But I could head that up, I think. And then we can maybe stream it here live for people that aren't going to Sedona or wherever it happens to be. Just a thought, because oftentimes we go to these festivals, there's a lot of content creators and we all talk to each other, but I don't know if that's something people would be interested in. Plant the seed. If you guys are listening to this post fact on the or the post recording on YouTube, if you listen to this, leave a comment down below about it. And then also I'm going to put this in audio form at some point. So then you can also just send me a message on Instagram and tell me what your thoughts are. But anyways, there we are. I was just curious. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's Will says, yeah, Joanna is cool. She helps organize. She works part-time Thunder Mountain Bikes. They run a whole thing. We Airbnb'd a house there a few years ago. Yeah, really cool. So anyways, just a thought. I don't know. Just me spitting out ideas. You never quite know. So there we are. Sedona, all that stuff going on. We got TDS Enduros going on this weekend. So stay tuned. If you guys aren't paying attention to my Instagram stories, you should, because the hijinks are going to ensue. The ideal scenario is I bring the camera out, I start filming some stuff. We're going to see how it goes. You just never know at events. It gets a little crazy. So wait, beer pong with bikes. How do you play that? How do you play beer pong with bikes? Can you please tell me if the brand, Jad says, can you please tell me if the brand Merida is good or even okay? I don't know if I can. I don't think I've ever heard of it. Merida? Has anybody in chat heard of this? Now, one thing I will say, and this is something I say quite frequently now, is that almost every bike manufacturer is making cool bikes these days. Like, it's in, like, you can pretty much just count on having a rad bike, and that's awesome. We live in a good time. We live in a good time that if you were to go buy a bike from almost any manufacturer, it's going to be pretty awesome. So I don't think it's bad, although I could Google it right now and just be like, nah, it sucks. But I actually don't know. Will says podcast with a bunch of you would be cool. I thought it'd be interesting. Again, I don't know if people would buy it. I still haven't really organized anything official with me. Like, I've never done an official Calirado Kid group ride or anything like that. We tried to organize something at Sedona because the trails were closed, it didn't like quite work out as we wanted, so we kind of just hung out. But again, I don't know. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out one day. I'm stoked you guys are here hanging out on this Friday night. Well, yeah, anyways. I don't know that liking the stream helps in any way, but you could also do that. I don't want to hold you guys hostage for too long tonight. But, wow, where are we at? Because I've got to get ready to go to the TDS Enduro. So I still got to pack up all my camping gear. I got to get all my bike stuff together. I got to get everything rocking and rolling. But I wanted to jump in, say hi, give you guys an update on all the events that are taking place, and get us some information on the events that are going on in your area. I'm just kind of curious. Mountain bike season gets a little crazy. You got to stay hydrated. You gotta bring your own beers. You got to do all that stuff. The TDS Enduro was wild, the Sea Otter Classic was pretty wild, by the way. Like, it's not often that I get to sit around and watch people race bikes because, like, I just don't go to races very often. So watching the dual slalom out there and seeing how quick these guys are coming down the hill, I was impressed. And I mean, like, most people that watch this stuff, if you've ever seen it in person, like, damn, they're fast. And, like, not only that, but you can watch their body movements, how, like, every turn they're committing every ounce of energy into that turn to really bite into the corners. And I was impressed, man. Like, I do have a lot of respect for racers. I know we joke around about, like, how, like, us content creators get more views sometimes, but it doesn't, like, matter because they're tremendous athletes. It's so fun to watch. And they were highly skilled. It was like, man, I was like, I gotta get better at riding a bike. Although it's hard because, like, I haven't barely ridden in the last week or so because I've been just crazy. Family stuff's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. It's getting hot out. I'm just complaining. Now I'm rambling. You guys got to give me some stuff to answer, and all. There it is. I know David says still waiting for a group ride. It will happen. I thought about it. Like I said, the Sedona one just didn't quite work out. I'm going to organize one here. I guarantee it. Give me a couple weeks. I got to let all these events settle down. In the meantime, we can hang out at events, but I will do an official one. 100%. Blues Paradise is in here. Thumbs down. I get it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for giving me a thumbs down. It's totally fine. Will says, thanks, Joe. Getting party hot here. 102 forecast for Sunday. Yeesh. Yeah, it was like 93 degrees here in California. So we skipped spring, although it's supposed to cool down next week, so we'll be good. Whoa, Bobo's doing his first enduro race this Thursday. Look, Bobo, I'm not going to lie. How are you going to, first of all, how are you going to do it? You going to hold up okay with your elbow the way it is? Like, is you still going to be able to haul ass? To me, like, I wouldn't go just necessarily take first or anything, but I think it'd be a rad experience. I do want to do one. I have convinced myself that I do want to participate in an enduro race. So I expect that to happen at some point. I'm just not sure which race or how or whatever. I got to start looking it up. Give me some information. Somebody bike some. You probably know, Jay, what I should register for. I thought about the Auburn one, but I don't want to have to climb my bike out of that place and do another lap, especially when it's like 900 degrees outside. It just sounds awful. But I do like the idea of doing an enduro race just for the hell of it. Now, the question comes into play. What should I register as when it comes to like enduro race? There's different, like, it's not like a baby class. I wouldn't be like there, but maybe one step up from that. Would it be pro? And then there's pro, then expert? No, or is it expert, then pro, and then there's something before it? I wouldn't know what to register as. I guess like expert. Would I have to suck it up and do expert? Probably. Because I couldn't do pro. That's not fair. I don't know if I'm that good. Well, I know I'm not that good, but like, anyways. There it is. Oh, yeah, my name's Joe, Jad. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, it is officially Joe. It's like the most mundane name, but the Calirado Kid. Everybody just calls me the Calirado Kid. When I go out to events, everybody's like, hey, Calirado, and then like, they're like, what's your actual name? And it's funny how few people know that. So it's not hidden knowledge. I just never really say Joe very often, but there you go. I'm going to throw a group ride on Wednesday. Nice, Jay. It's group ride weather. I like it. What is your favorite, Jad says, what is your favorite MTB bike brand? Right now, There's a couple. Okay, so I really do like Revel, and one of the reasons why is I've spent more time with the people involved with the company than any other bike company. Does that make sense? So I've hung out with Adam, the CEO. I've hung out with a bunch of the other people that are part of the crew, and they're all really cool. And we've talked shop, so I have kind of a little bit more of a personal relationship with them. But then, like, I also like Transition. Transition was really cool when we were out in Washington. These are all kind of based on personal experiences, right? But when I was out in Washington riding Galbraith, I had my Yeti something was wrong with it. So I brought it into the Transition HQ, and they have something called the Outpost there. So right at the bottom of Galbraith, you can go in, you can grab a beer, and they can work on your bike. And now my bike was a Yeti. They didn't have to do it. They took it over. They ended up working on the thing for like 30, 45 minutes. I've told this story before, but like that was really cool. They didn't have to do that. They didn't really know who I was, but they took the time to work on the bike. And then I was like, hey, what do I owe you, man? Happy to pay. We drank a couple beers while we were there, you know, but they were like, nah, you don't have to pay anything. I was like, okay. So it was like, that creates love for a brand, right? Stuff like that. So it's more personal based than like performance based, because I'm not a tech guy when it comes to bikes. You guys are aware of this. So for me, like those relationships and like having personal experiences with companies will tend to lean me that direction more than anything else, I think. And like I said, almost every bike brand is making rad bikes these days, so you can't really argue it. Bubba says, apparently I'm entering the e-bike category with Walker Shaw, so I'd say my odds are good. Yeah, good luck, Bubba. We're all counting on you. I hope you're documenting this. I'm curious. Ooh, the Nevada 30 Enduro could be fun, Bike Tom. That could be fun. All right, what do we got? Oh, Charlie Hicks, thank you, brother. $20 donation. I appreciate you. You're keeping me afloat right now. It's just thanks, Joe. Loving the content. Keep the laughs coming. Charlie, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being in here. Thanks for hanging out on a Friday night. Like I said, I don't want to hold you guys hostage all night long. We're going to just stay on for a little bit longer because I got to get prepped. I got to get all my camping gear together, and I got to get ready to go to the TDS Enduro and just have lots of hijinks all weekend long. I'm probably going to lose my voice again, so I got to really pace myself. All right, because I have a tendency to yell. You know what I mean? I've discovered this. I think I got to. Maybe we should do like a Calirado Kid ASMR live stream. You know, we're just gonna do one of these, and then I could preserve my voice all night long. But I'm afraid that it will just turn you guys all on so much that you're gonna be riding a fully rigid bike. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. It's a euphemism, but it's fine. Okay. Now we're back. We'll just do it normal. We'll do it normal for now. Will says he's going to go put the kiddo to bed. Thanks for jumping in. Will, always a good time, man. Hopefully I'll get out to Arizona soon. If not, come out here. Come ride Downeyville with me. I actually kind of want to organize a Downeyville group ride. Downeyville is one of my favorite places on the planet, and I kind of want to go out there and just get a bunch of people and hang out. I got to find out soon when the snow melts, but soon. Mountain Bike Q&A is in here. Good to see you, brother. He says it is 14 o'clock in Miami. Miami, dude. At least you got nice weather in Miami all the time, huh? I found a TikToker recently, which is totally out of the ordinary. Like, not in my algorithm at all, but this guy who just, like, lives out in South Beach, Florida, or somewhere, like, down on the coast. He just goes and, like, forages for food. He'll go down and spearfish and grab coconuts, and, like, I can't stop watching. I don't know why. Anyways, so it's not really on topic, but it kind of is on topic. So there you go. Okay. Best tire model debate, because that sounds interesting to talk about. Oh, God. I'm sure that people could go off and chat all day long about this. Now, Maxxis has like been my go-to forever. It wasn't until recently that Continental sent over some tires, and Jay, the old bike sum, recommended me going with the downhill casing on these things. They're squishy, they're grippy, they're Cryptotals. I can't really pronounce the name of the tires, but they sent me over the tires. They're really good. They're heavier. They're definitely heavier than my old tires, but they're grippy as hell in the corners. I like them. I still like Maxxis is the standard. I'd have to go through and like really try everything. But like I'm just in chat. I'm sure that people could go off on this. I'm sure they could go off on this. Yeah, but I would say still Maxxis the standard. The Continentals have been good. I've written on some stuff with them, but not like a long-term review. So I hate to like fully give them a full endorsement just yet, but they are good. They're really good. Very hard to put on your bike. Very hard. How much did your bike cost altogether? Oh, God. Nothing, because Rebel sent me this one. I'm just borrowing it for a while, so it was like not official. But the Yeti was like, I think I got a screaming deal on it. It was like a year-end deal. It was a 2018 Yeti, so I ended up getting it for like maybe $4,000 with taxes and everything. So it was like at the time, a full-on built bike was like, oh, okay, cool. But then of course you start adding like Onyx hubs, and you start doing like wireless shifting and Hayes brakes, and it just just went overboard, and it ended up being way more expensive in the long run. So I mean, where that final price ended up, I don't know, man. I don't know. But Revel's been cool. I've been riding that one for a while. That bike is incredible. The Revel Rascal, huge fan. I like the culture of the company, and the bike has been fantastic. It's actually like giving me quite a bit more confidence on the bike. Like I feel maybe position wise, it feels really good. Again, not a technical guy. I don't think I'll ever do a bike review on it, but I will say I like it a lot. I do like it a lot. Hopefully that answers any question you had. Oh my God, tan sidewalls on tires, huh? Yeah, we could roll that way. Okay. Do you like Canyon? Canyon's a rad company too. Yeah, they support Sam Pilgrim, right? That's that guy's just seems like a hell of a guy to hang out with, right? He's just such a wonky dude. Like he just got such a great vibe to him. But yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff. We actually got to hang out with Brad Sims out at Sea Otter, if you guys saw that picture. But he was out there on his Canyon. That guy's an incredible athlete, really amazing. And it was really cool. So he is riding a Canyon as well. So again, like none of these companies are making bad bikes anymore. It's just all personal experience for me. If I have like a personal experience with a brand, I'd probably lean that way just because I know them. You know what I mean? But Santa Cruz makes great bikes. Specialized makes great. It's just like whatever. Everybody's making great stuff these days. So, you know, choose the brand that you like, especially if you've got a personal experience with them. Right? Would you guys agree in chat? Maybe there's one brand that everybody just hates and I don't know about it. And we'll see. We'll see. Is wireless shifting worth it? No, not really. No, I went over to the wireless stuff and like eventually with not servicing it properly, it just ends up feeling like a normal shifter. Like everything, like I remember I was on the Yeti and like I looked at the app and I was like, it's not shifting all the way. It said it was in like gear 2 and it was like actually in 5 and like now it's just a technical troubleshooting problem that I don't need on the trail. So it felt good for a while. Like I like there's a couple features that I like about it is like the infinite shift. So you can hold down the paddle and it'll shift through the gears just constantly. That is a really cool feature. I like it. But the Revel that I have right now is just normal shifting. It's the XX1 or whatever it is. And it just feels great. And it's just working fantastic. And it's like, okay, well, the $600 maybe not worth it. It was worth a try. I think I'd like with the new one, I'd be curious to give the new setup a try. But you must be out of your mind if you think I'm going to pay $2,500 for it. No. No, I will leverage my star power to get one of those on a bike eventually and try it out. And then I'll be like, I can't tell the difference anyway. So who knows? Did you guys see my handlebar one? Okay. Like, and people warned me about this and I knew about this as well. I did a video recently where you trim down the handlebars. Now, fun backstory behind that. I was asking Brian, the old BKXC, I was like, hey, do you have any Trail One bars that are beat up and you're not going to use for anything that like I can use for a video? And he's like, I think so. So he managed to find one. He dropped them off on my porch because I was out of town at Everyman Jack HQ. You know, one of my sponsors, Everyman Jack HQ. Yeah, anyways. Did I mention that? Okay, anyways. So he leaves them over there, so I was able to shoot that. Now, obviously with carbon bars, you should be a little bit more precautious when you're cutting them. And that is, I know, but I had to get the shot. And then, so I took one for the team, and I was cutting carbon bars, and my face was right there in the shot. Man, I'm not going to lie. I was coughing that night. Like it was not the smartest idea I've ever had, but it was worth it. It did pretty good. It's like a 250,000 views on TikTok right now and 200,000 plus on IG. So it was kind of worth it. I don't know. Like, because everybody will say the carbon dust will get in your lungs. Is that true? Maybe. I was coughing and my nose hurt. So that could have just been something else entirely, right? I could have just been allergies. Who knows? Anyways, I'm just going to die a year earlier. I'm just going to skip some of the diaper stages and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. What are we talking about in chat here? I'm catching up. Don't worry, guys. MTB Q&A says, do you like your recently cut bars? Back in the day we rode at NYC City with Messer. Yeah, no, like a lot of people were telling me, and it's funny because they're like, oh yeah, back in the 90s, mountain bikes that had handlebars that small. So it was like kind of a throwback, and that was actually drove some interaction on the videos. I thought it was interesting. It's oftentimes the way that I learn about this sport is through making a video, doing something wrong or doing something like that. And then people in chat like will chime in. And I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know that. Like, or I'll say something's like a top tube versus a head tube or whatever. And somebody will just eat me alive. And like, well, now I know. Like, I plead ignorance and I'm happy to. Like, it's fine. I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'll never say that I am. So it makes things a lot easier for me because I'm always open to learn. And so there's plenty of learning opportunities to happen when you screw stuff up all the time. But don't be afraid to screw up, you know, because that's how you learn. That's how I learn. I just screw a bunch of stuff up and then I figure it out. Life lessons right there from the Calirado Kid. I should put that on a t-shirt. What do you say? Joe, do you like hardtails? I don't know if I've ridden a hardtail in a very long time. I'm not against them at all. I think it'd be rad. I actually want to get like a dirt jumper and go to the local bike park and really practice jumps. I think that'd be really cool. But right now on the bike that I have, it doesn't feel good. Like I went to the Auburn Bike Park. Maybe it's like it's built differently, but like it didn't feel right jumping on that. It felt like clunky because this is a 29er. It's like, to me, it felt clunky on jumps, like in that regard, like a smaller park. When we went to the bike park in Thousand Oaks with Outside Brendan, it felt better. It was really fun. I actually felt like I got some progress on the jumps, but it would require repetition. So I'd love to get like a hardtail dirt jumper sort of thing. Like obviously not the same thing, of course, but you know what I mean? Where I could actually just get out there and send it a little bit more. But again, with the time schedule that I have, most of the times if I have the opportunity to ride, I'm going to go ride and not go like session jumps because we just don't have a lot of jump trails around here. So I'd rather just go for a good old fashioned ride. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, good. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to hold you guys over the coals tonight. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to get done. I wanted to jump in, talk about some of the events that are coming up. If you guys didn't see, we've got some merch coming up. I gave you an early preview of the old Calirado Kid gloves. Let's see if we can show these off here. Okay, let me just size this down so I'm on screen. But there they are. Those aren't unveiled. This is a secret unveil because they're not officially unveiled yet. So this is a behind the scenes reveal. But the idea is, again, I painted the picture. The idea is like mountain bike excuses. You always have an excuse handy. Calirado Kid's got you covered. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But like, it's the first merch I've done in a long time. So I figured, why the hell not? Let's throw it out there and see how it goes. Working with Trail Manos on that one. I'm stoked on that. What else can we talk about tonight? That's basically it. I don't want to hold you guys here all night. I know we're having fun. We're having fun on a Friday night, but I got so much stuff to do, and TDS is going to be this weekend. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. The gloves will drop in next month. So I talked with Nick from Trail Manos. He says probably about sometime mid-May. I'm going to make, once I get them in hand, I've got a video idea that I want to make. So I'll release the reel, and I'll put the announcement in there and everything. And then it'll be off to the races. So we'll have some more information once we get closer to that. But again, like, I appreciate always you guys, the support you give me, whether it's just liking and commenting on videos or hanging out in live streams. All that stuff's very much appreciated. Stoked you're here. Stoked we could do this on a Friday night. And I think we're going to call it. I appreciate you guys jumping in. And we'll do another one real soon. There's a possibility, because one of the things we talked about for Dirt Daze coming up next weekend on May 6th, usually we'll do a broadcast from a local brewery. It's just been hard with the schedule because it's been so crazy with all the events going on. But if we do it and we're able to lock it in maybe a Wednesday night, and we're going to go over to Crooked Lane Brewery and broadcast live. So usually we just invite people over to come drink beer and hang out on the live stream with us. It's actually a pretty rad experience. I haven't done it. We usually do it once a year, but we're going to see. Well, I'm waiting to hear back from them. If we can lock that in, I'll make an announcement on that as well. That's a fun live stream to tune into because a lot of stuff happens because people just show up and like try to talk on the mic. But also, like, if you're in the area, you can just come and grab a beer with us or something too. I usually get busy because I'm running multiple cameras and stuff, but we're going to see how it pans out. So that may be something that's happening. I will keep you updated. Otherwise, I'll be out at TDS Enduro this weekend. I'll be at a Dirt Daze the following weekend. And then I've got some time to just go enjoy the weekends and film and actually, pay attention to my family and do all that stuff. That's how we're going to do it. The Bentonville Bike Fest. No, Bobo, I would love to, man. Actually, the Bentonville Bike Fest reached out. They offered me a room, like saying they have space. But the trick is just like, unless I can get some sponsor to lock down and help me pay for all the flights, because my son's birthday's that weekend. So I'd have to like bring everybody out as like a fun adventure and go explore Bentonville and then go to the Bike Fest too and stuff. And it would just turn into a very expensive affair. And I think I'm supposed to take part. We're going to have a conversation about it. There's an event, a fundraising event going on with Tamba out in Lake Tahoe, and they want me to help out with a fundraiser. So I'm trying to figure out how they want, in what capacity they want me to do stuff. And so that's the same weekend. So there's just a lot going on. So many damn things. But I do got to get out and go hang out with Bobo. Imagine if I we plan a lot of stuff ahead and we just get a ton of filming done and just make all kinds of funny shit while we're out there too. It's on the table. It's entirely possible it could happen. Look, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to this live stream on a Friday night. Stoked you guys were here, and we're going to do it again real soon. Trust me, the studio's set up. We're ready to rock and roll. So we'll do another live stream real soon. Stay tuned on my Instagram. It's going to get crazy this weekend of the TDS Enduro. Trust me. And see you guys in the next one. All right. Goodbye. still really excited about the fact that I spent like so much time making that like random screensaver. Like, I don't know if you guys know this. Like, I spent hours making that thing, and it's just so preposterous. But you know what? I'm proud of every moment. That might be the greatest video I've ever made. I enjoy it every time I watch the screensaver. It was a tremendous waste of time, as with everything else. In fact, the TDS report that I did with Normal Mountain Biker, which you guys saw, I'm going to roll it one more time too. I spent a ton of time doing this today. I was like, his cell reception was terrible. He's like, did the video come through? I was like, I got it. And it was like, I added all the elements onto it and stuff like that. And that's why we've got this live report right here from Normal Mountain Biker out at TDS Enduro.
Yo, Seabass here reporting from the Dirty Sanchez. As you can see, we've got lots of festivities, dirt bikers roaming around, dust, berms, jumps, drops, all the whole 9 yards. This place is awesome. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're going to be racing, having a good time out here, hopefully staying safe, keeping the rubber side down. Joe, make these people laugh, dude. I don't know what kind of podcast you're doing. You haven't told me any details about it, so I apologize in advance. However, it's going to be a good time regardless. See you guys later.
Like I said, tremendous pressure on my shoulders to make you guys laugh. Hopefully I came through tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I got to go pack up the truck and start getting ready. I got to leave super early out to the TDS. So it's going to get crazy. Stay tuned. If you're not following their page, by the way, on Instagram, you should check it out. TDS_Enduro. I don't know what it is, at TDS Enduro. It'll come up. Just search for it. Anyways, if you're listening to this in podcast form, I appreciate you being here. If you guys are listening to it live, you guys are the best in the business. I don't want to argue about nothing. We'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, I'm officially gone this time, all right? I got to go pay attention to everybody else over here. All right, goodbye.